If you win an argument, you've not really won, right? Your victory will be momentary and pile up resentment. The ill will that you stir up in the course of you winning the argument will be stronger and last longer than whatever momentary victory you gain. So really, an argument is a terrible way to win. The mayor of Florence, Piero Soderini, commissioned Michelangelo to work on a sculpture at the Santa Maria del Fiore Church in 1494. Crazy story. First, this project had already been attempted by a sculptor and the result was a disaster. In fact, it was so bad that the stone was now mutilated and it was impossible for it to be fixed or for any sculptor to get a sculpture out of it anymore. Michelangelo traveled to Florence to take a look at this impossible job, and he took a look and said, well, I can carve a fine figure following the way the stone was already mutilated. So Soderini said, no, you can't. It's impossible. Anyway, Michelangelo got to work and made one of the finest and most popular sculptures of all time, young David, sling in hand. As he was putting the final touches, Soderini walked in and, fancying himself a bit of a connoisseur, took a look at the figure and said, well, this figure is magnificent, but the nose is a little too big. Michelangelo knew that he didn't have the right perspective because of where he was standing, but he did not argue. He gestured to Soderini to follow him up the scaffolding, and reaching for the nose, he picked up his chisel, a bit of marble dust that laid on the planks, and he started to tap lightly the nose, right? And pouring some of the marble dust that he had gathered on his hand, as he was tapping. So he's fixing the nose, right? So he's obviously up and Soderini is somewhere below him. And so he acted like he was fixing the nose, whereas he was just pouring the marble dust that he had gathered in his hand. After a while, he said to Soderini, take a look. And Soderini replied, I like it better, man. You've made it come alive. Obviously, Michelangelo did nothing. And he knew that changing the shape of the nose might just ruin the entire sculpture. So the question is, why did he do that? He could have just said, hey, move 10 degrees north or 30 degrees south, right? But he knew that arguing with a man as powerful and prideful as Soderini was a terrible idea, right? Even if he won the argument, his future commissions will be in jeopardy. And such is the wisdom that you need to operate in this world. Michelangelo found a way to preserve the art and the ego of the man in whose hands his future commissions or career might be in. He proved this point without an argument, without offending anyone, and gathering any ill will. The ninth law of power says, win through your actions, never through argument, right? This is one of those times that action speaks louder than voice. I don't believe that action speaks louder than voice all the time. I think there are times you need to use your voice, but I think it's wise to know when to use your voice and when to use your actions. One of the terrible ways to use your voice is in an argument, right? Especially with people who are key to your growth, people that are important in your life, people that hold the key to the next phase of your work, your career, or whatever it is that you're involved in. It's in those times where actions should speak louder than voice, right? There are a number of ways to prove your point and earn respect without gathering ill will or stacking up resentment, right? I'll share 3 of them. 1, judge your moves by their long-term effect on people, especially people that matter, right? You don't want to stack up resentment with someone that you're going to need in 3 months' time, in 2 years' time, in 10 years' time. Try everything else. Secondly, choose your battles carefully, okay? People have died, gone to jail, lost opportunities because they just wanted to be right. There's that urge to be right? People have gotten into street fights, arguments. These are times when you need to prioritize. And the question you need to ask yourself is what's more important? Is it more important that I succeed or that I win this argument, right? Because sometimes it can't be both. Do I want to win the argument or do I want to win the contract? Do I want to win the argument or do I want to get a promotion? Do I want to win the argument or do I want something that is more important to me? Finally, when you want to prove your point, if proving your point is that important, right? Go the indirect approach. You don't have to fuss about it. You can learn from Michelangelo. Get a chisel, marble dust, and pretend to be doing the thing, okay? A lot of what it takes to be successful is being right. But even more than that is the willingness to be wrong. Knowing when to be right or wrong, and understanding that it's okay to be wrong even when you're right. It's a skill that successful people have. And it's not dumb. It's actually genius. So, I think Law 9 is powerful. Win through your actions, never through arguments. That's it for the 9th law of power. If you're subscribed, then I will see you in the next law. If you're not subscribed, then hit subscribe so I will see you in the next law. Actually, I'm looking forward to it. Cheers.